Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning, 6 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on the show. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Nicole Hernandez. We want to get right to weather. We've got Brandon T. Jones in for meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Good morning.
Good morning, Tim, Nicole. Well, we've got another wet and breezy day here ahead of us here on this fall day as we take a live look outside. You see all that green back there? That's to honor veterans. Of course, the Washington Water Power Building, that's always green, but those other lights on the Health Building and the County Courthouse, that's an awesome thing to see, and we want to say thank you for your service. But today for our weather headlines, we've got some more rain, some more mountain snow, a breezy fall day again, and highs are going to jump back up into the 50s, at least here in Spokane. Elsewhere, you might have a 49 over there in Coeur d'Alene. Nonetheless, mild temperatures here throughout the day and those wet and breezy conditions.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact from I-90 in Sprague this morning. You can see traffic moving great here at this hour. No major issues to report in Spokane Valley. We'll keep a close eye on traffic throughout the morning, let you know if there's any slowdowns. On Up with KREM, we do bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes.
All right, we want to take a look at the race for Coeur d'Alene mayor this morning. All of the votes are in, and it looks like Dan Gukin could be the next mayor of Coeur d'Alene. He is winning the race with a little over 3,200 votes. Kootenai County says they have counted all of the votes, but keep in mind the election still needs to be certified.
Meantime, two big initiatives on the ballot this year are the Spokane Public Schools bond and the Spokane Parks levy. So
the school district and the Parks Department partnered for this vote. They're calling it Together Spokane, so let's take a look at both. First, taking a look at the $240 million Parks levy. Right now, that is passing by 54%. Remember, a levy only needs a simple majority of at least 50% to pass.
Now taking a look at the Spokane Public Schools bond, it's also passing with almost 61% voting yes. Bonds do need 60% approval in order to pass, so we will be keeping a close eye on this one as the county counts more votes. As of this morning, the Spokane County Elections Office estimates they still have 22,000 ballots left to count.
Now, if both the bond and the levy pass, schools and parks say they will complete 30 extra community projects. That's things like a public pool, more soccer fields, and more community rec spaces.
KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy has reaction to the early results.
It was cheers and excitement here at Spokane's Steam Plant restaurant as preliminary results rolled in Tuesday night, showing that both measures under Together Spokane are passing. State Senator Marcus Riccelli, a supporter for Together Spokane, says now the hard work begins. The results will not be certified until later this month, but organizers from the school district and Parks Department say this is the culmination of months of hard work. They say they raised more than $280,000 to campaign and knocked on more than 6,100 doors. For Spokane schools, if final results show voters approve the bond, work will start immediately on a new Adams Elementary.
Kids will actually transition to Camp Adams, the old Jefferson Elementary, in December. That transition will happen right away. That's how needed this construction project was.
And the Parks Department will start its first phase of a 20-year plan to update all park facilities, starting with additions to security and maintenance.
We want to get at least the first round of additional park rangers on board the first quarter of 2026 to get them hired out in our parks, out in our community for proactive patrolling. We'll have a series of new restroom facilities and playgrounds that will be installed. And then the first new park in Meadowglen, North Indian Trail, will start construction in 2026 as well.
Those behind Together Spokane say that these preliminary results are not the end. They plan to, quote, chase down ballots. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Coming up at 6:30, Dr. Adam Swinyard will join us live to talk about the SPS bond and what happens next, depending on how the remaining votes go. In the meantime, you can see more election results on the ticker at the bottom of your screen. 6:05 today marks day 36 of the government shutdown, making it the longest in U.S. history.
The Senate vote yesterday failed again. This was the 14th failed vote and came through at 54-44. Now, despite that outcome, it seems senators on both sides of the aisle are working together on a plan that would possibly reopen the government. Sources say it involves some kind of stopgap funding bill, then a promise to vote later on rising Obamacare subsidies.
We need to stand firm for the real interests of the American people.
As the days roll by, the consequences and pain of the shutdown grow more severe for the American people.
Some Republican lawmakers think Democrats will be more willing to vote to reopen the government after the elections. The last longest government shutdown in history was the shutdown in 2019 during President Trump's first term.
And this morning, we're keeping an eye on potential fallout from the shutdown. The Department of Transportation says it may need to close some parts of the U.S. airspace if not enough air traffic controllers show up to work. Air traffic controllers just missed a full paycheck. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy sounded the alarm within the controller workforce, blaming Democrats for potential flight delays and cancellations.
So if you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos. You will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
Air traffic controllers are essential employees and are required to work during federal government shutdowns despite not getting paid. This past week, many TSA and FAA employees did not show up for work, leading to massive delays at some airports across the country.
Here locally today, Brian Kohberger, the man serving 4 life sentences for killing 4 University of Idaho students, is heading back to court. He's fighting against more restitution payments. His July plea agreement says Kohberger already agreed to pay funeral costs and reimburse the Crime Victim Compensation Fund. That's about $29,000 in total. Plus, he has to pay more than $250,000 in criminal fines and fees. Now, the state wants him to pay another $27,000. That would cover the travel and hotel expenses for 2 of the students' families. His defense, though, says GoFundMe donations covered those costs. And they say under Idaho law, he cannot pay more.
An update for you this morning. A jury has found the Spokane man accused of assaulting a Border Patrol agent not guilty. Martin Diaz was accused of elbowing an agent in the eye during a struggle at his Spokane home earlier this year. Diaz's home security camera captured the incident. His family says he has been working to get his visa. He's also been fighting against a deportation order from an assault charge he had as a teenager. A judge has ordered the U.S. Marshal Service to release Diaz.
And as we take a live look outside, temperatures now up into the 40s, so 40 degrees as our current temp. Winds moving around 10 miles per hour. So a nice breezy start here to our day. That's expected throughout the day, actually. As you can see, morning time mostly dry. By this afternoon, we're looking at rainy, light rain conditions, but then those rainy conditions mostly on and off throughout the entirety of the day into those evening hours. We're going to talk about more of that rain and then also when things could dry out, though, coming up in our full forecast.
Well, we are now hearing from the family of a woman who was hit and killed over the weekend in Okanagan County, just outside of Brewster. Annette Gore's family says they are still trying to wrap their heads around what happened. Washington State Patrol says 3 different drivers hit Gore while she was walking in the middle of US 97. Her family says she typically walked everywhere since she did not have a license. WSP says the first driver tried to avoid Gore but was not able to and then stayed on scene. While waiting for law enforcement to arrive, Gore was hit by 2 other drivers, one they're still looking for.
So I knew it was her, so we jumped in the vehicle and went down there. It was difficult. We had to check her for a pulse because nobody had done that yet. And it was hard.
WSP says at this time they are not currently seeking charges in this case, but that could change. Anybody with information should call the number there at the bottom of your screen. Well, the Grant County Jail found an inmate dead inside a special cell for people in crisis. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says he was the only one in that cell. Staff tried to perform life-saving measures, but they did not work. The Central Basin Investigative Team is now investigating. The inmate was originally booked into the jail on October 31st. Also this morning, investigators are still working to figure out what caused a deadly plane crash in Kentucky. As of right now, we know at least 7 people died and others were hurt. The plane was a UPS cargo plane taking off from Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport. We want to let you know some of the video you're about to see might be hard to watch. So you can see this video here. It's right before that cargo flight crashes. It erupted into flames, and it is presumed the 3 crew members on board died. The explosion set multiple nearby buildings on fire as well, including an auto parts store and a petroleum recycling center. The crash happened at a major UPS hub.
There was no specifically hazardous cargo on board of the plane that would create an environmental issue for those around the site, but the impact and where it impacted could create those types of situations.
The state's governor confirmed there were about 38,000 gallons of fuel on board the plane. It was set to carry it from Kentucky to Hawaii. The NTSB will lead the investigation into what went wrong.